Yeah, good morning, guys. So till now, how many hours of training is completed? Till yesterday. So 14.25 hours, right? 14 plus hours of training is completed, and we had completed almost all the important fundamental concepts. Uh, now we know we need to start the performance testing concepts now. We are going to start performance testing concepts today, and if time permits, like I'll install Java on your machine. We'll see that later. Okay. So I'll start with performance testing lifecycle. So let us start with performance testing lifecycle. So we are going to discuss why, like how does companies get project, what happens before we start, what happens actually, right? Yeah. Right. Did we discuss this, by the way?
Yes, sir.
3-tier architecture, did we discuss it?
No, sir. We did not discuss it.
No, in
We
the
didn't discuss
fundamentals,
it. Okay.
you just mentioned about the
Okay.
basics.
Fine. Okay. So then we need to discuss this. Prerequisites, how about this? Prerequisites, no. Okay. So I'll start here. We'll discuss web application architecture first. Okay. I'll start with, I'll start with performance testing lifecycle. Let us start with performance testing lifecycle. Is recording in progress? Yes. So today we are going to discuss, what is a typical life cycle of a performance testing project. I'll mark it here. Performance testing life cycle. All right. So we have 3 in classroom plus 9 online. Any new joinees today? I saw one new name today. Srikanth. Okay, Pallavi. Okay. All right. So let us discuss performance testing life cycles. Means like how do we get how does based companies get a project, right? So we'll be focusing more on service based companies, and later on we'll discuss about product based companies. How does it happen in the product based companies? So first of all, we'll discuss about service based companies. Let's say suppose a client want to do performance testing for their application. So it's today's date. 17. Client want to do performance testing, like let's say for example, so this is one of the website, new website. Okay, this belongs to one of my friends actually. So let's say they developed one web application for their business, right? And they wanted to, they will do once the development is completed, they will do functional testing. Functional testing is mandatory, right? Without functional testing, no one will go to production. No one will go to production without functional testing. Okay. So now let's say, their business is growing. Initially, they may be having less number of users, but their business is growing gradually, and the user base is increasing. And let's say, as user base increases, when as thousands of users are accessing the application, let's say they are facing some issues, right? Or else, they are expecting huge volume of users, right? They're expecting huge volume of users. See, this is a small application, but what if, a GeoMart kind of application came into the market, right? So you have, a lot of e-commerce applications already like Amazon and Flipkart. Now GMart also came into that business, right? Now they, they will not wait for performance issues to come up, right? So they will do functional testing first and then performance testing and then security testing as well. Now we know they wanted to do performance testing, for their application. Any client want to do performance testing for their application. Now, they need to give that project to someone, right? Some service-based company, right? They may not be having a team. Product-based companies, it's a different story. Product-based companies, will have their own developers and testing team, isn't it? Product-based companies will have their own development team and testing team. Yes or no? We have discussed it here. Whereas, those who are, companies which are not product-based, right? So, they will not have any their own team, right? They have to go for some service-based company. Now they have to decide, like, to which service-based company they need to award the project. They need to give that project, or from whom to get the testing done, right? So for that, they will the client will float something called RFI. Okay, so this is performance testing life cycle. So it will have three phases typically. One is discovery and planning phase, right? So in this phase, the clients who are looking for performance testing for their application will float something called RFI, where RFI stands for request for information. Okay, RFI stands for request for information. Let me give some example for this. Okay. So let's say you want to buy an apartment. Okay. So you came to Hyderabad, or we went to Bangalore for your job purpose, and you want to buy an apartment, right? So, or you want to own a house, you want to stay in your own house. So you will not be able to build your own house, right? You have to procure land, you have to procure material, and that is very cumbersome task, isn't it? So let's say you want to buy an apartment or a house, right? Then you post. What do you do, guys? You went to a new city and you want to buy or rent a apartment or a house there. What do you do?
We have to consult the third party team.
Yeah. So what is that? You have to?
You have to consult any third party guys, vendors.
Right. So you will contact any mediators, or you will post your requirement on some, see, is it only physical? Is it the only way? By so contacting, physically, so
No, we can
approaching
request
some.
for online as well.
Right. So you may post your requirement on some website like Magic Bricks or Common Floor or 99acres.com, etc. You'll post your requirement that I'm looking for a 2 BHK or a 3 BHK or an independent house or a sharing basis. So you'll post somewhere and you will look for response, isn't it? Right. So and now those who are builders and those who are having some inventory, they will be approaching you. Agree? They will approach you saying that we have a 2 BHK or we have a project here in so and so area. So you will post your requirement first. First you will post your requirement saying that I want a 2 BHK or 3 BHK or an independent house in so and so areas in so and so budget, isn't it? Now the matching. You'll get uh, you'll get some profiles, or you'll get some information from the matching profiles, or builders which are having some inventory, isn't it? So similarly here also, suppose a client want to do performance testing, they will post their requirement and asking for request for an RFI. They'll post their requirement in the form of an RFI. Now what is an RFI? RFI stands for request for information. Okay, now let me show you one sample RFI. What information client asks, right? RFI stands for request for information. Now, what is that information? Let us see that. See, for example, when I was working for one of the service-based company, so we got an RFI. We got an RFI from one of our clients. Okay, called UBCI, if I remember correctly, it is UBC. UBC stands for University of British Columbia. University of British Columbia. So they wanted to do performance testing for their university website, and they posted their they have so University of British Columbia. These people wanted to do performance testing for their website, university website, and they posted some RFI. Right now, what does the RFI contain? Observe here that there will be some standard set of questions like this. What are they asking? Observe here. What portion of your business is dedicated for performance testing? How many full-time, part-time contract staff members are there at your company? What are the typical roles and responsibilities of your performance test team structure? Right? They're asking some see, they will post these questions, guys, and this is our response. Okay. When I was working for one of the service-based company, I got a responsibility to answer to this RFI. I was working in a service-based company at that time, around 2015 or 20. Right? So now, I got an RFI, who will give it, sales team will get it. We'll have every service-based company will have a sales team. They will be looking for, clients who require our services, and they will be getting leads. They will be getting leads, and, they asked us to provide this information, what client is asking. Clear, guys? Now, we had responded to this, each of their questions, right? So RFI document basically contains some standard set of questions. And the service-based companies which are looking for projects, they will respond to that RFI. Clear, everyone? Just like, you are looking for a 2 BHK apartment, and builders who are having some 2 BHK apartment or a 3 BHK apartment, whatever it is in your preferred area, they will respond to you saying that we have a matching property. Would you be like to interested, or would you like to visit the property? Isn't it? So similarly, here also, service-based companies respond to that RFI, right? By providing the information client is asking, and then client will receive a lot of responses from different service-based companies. We have a lot of service-based companies, right? You have TCS, CTS, Tech Mahindra, Infosys. All their sales team will be like looking for business to get some projects, isn't it? Now, once client get the response from different service-based companies, they will shortlist some of them. And they will, explain their application to the service-based company, or they will explain their requirement, right? And they will ask client will ask the service-based company to submit a proposal document. RFP stands for request for proposal. Okay. So request for proposal. So client will ask the shortlisted service-based companies to submit a proposal. First, they will explain about their requirement. Client will explain their requirement briefly. Okay. Not in detail, but they explain the requirement briefly and ask the shortlisted service-based companies to submit proposal or a solution document. To their requirement, to their testing requirement. It can be development also, guys. Even development software development also, projects also start in this way only. Now let us relate it to the house example. Okay. So some builders approached you, or some mediators approached you. Now what will you ask them? You'll ask them that, like, can you give me a quotation? Isn't it? Or you go to them, or you visit, or you connect with them, and you'll ask to submit a quotation. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? You'll take quotation from multiple people. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Multiple builders. You will not definitely go with the first one or second one, isn't it? So you will ఎందుకు why డబ్బులు ఊరికే రావు కదా ఎవరికి. This Kiran Kumar told, this guy, right? Everyone.
Lalita Jewelers.
Yeah, I like this guy very much. Like his success story. Anyone heard about this success story?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes.
Lalita Jewelers, all of you might have seen that, right? So, what does it say? Double or ki ఊరికే రావు, right? So you take quotation from multiple vendors and then you decide it, right? So now similarly, you will also follow the same thing. Most of us follow the same thing, isn't it? So similarly, clients also follow the same thing. They will ask, different service-based companies to submit quotation, or they will take quotation from different service-based companies, and they will evaluate all of them. And then, because they can give project to, one of the service-based companies, right? You can buy one house at a time. You can't buy 4 or 5 houses at a time, right? Isn't it? So now, you will finalize one you'll finalize one vendor or one builder, and you will proceed with them, right? If it is matching your requirement, your budget, the construction quality and all, whatever it is, isn't it? So similarly, service-based clients also, they will finalize one service-based company. They will award the project to that service-based company, isn't it? Now your service-based company, assume that you are working in a service-based company like TCS or CTS or Infosys or Tech Mahindra, and you got a project now. You got a performance testing project now. Now there, from that stage, see, till this stage, who all will be involved till this stage? Your sales team. Okay. In this phase, your sales team will be involved. They will be the actors here. Okay. Actors in above phase is your sales team. Sales team, what is the job of sales team? To get the leads. Sales team job is to get the leads. And then your managers, right? Your architects, your managers, architects, all these people will be involved in this phase. Now, once you got the project, now the whole team will get involved now. You got a project, right? And then you will, the whole team will be involved from this phase Now, you will collect detailed requirements here. See, in the RFP phase, they will give a brief, they will show their application and they will give their requirements at a high level. Okay. But once we get the project, we'll collect the requirements in detail. And that is called as, NFR gathering phase, non-functional requirement gathering phase. Okay. I'm sorry, I missed non-functional. It should be non-functional requirements gathering. Okay. So NFR gathering phase. What is NFR? What is non-functional requirement? What is the target user load of what is functional requirement? If you understand what is functional requirement, you need to understand difference between functional requirements and non-functional requirements here. Okay. Let us say, for example, so you got a functional testing project for Gmail, right? Let's say you got a very good client, you got Google client, and they gave a functional testing project for you, right? What is now you need to test that functionality of the Gmail application, right? Suppose you type, you open a browser. When a user opens a browser and type gmail.com, every user will get this page. They should get this page, isn't it? Now, once now what are you supposed to do now? You need to enter your email or phone number, isn't it? So let's say I had entered my email ID. I had entered my email ID. If it is a valid email ID, you should prompt for a password, isn't it? If this email ID is valid, it will prompt for a password. Once you click on next, it will ask for password. But if it is not a valid email ID, let's say, for example, if it is not a valid email ID, something like this, what should it do? What should happen now if you click next?
It should display an error
It should
message.
display an error message like this, enter a valid email or phone number. So these are functional requirements. Or this is how the application, this is how it should function. The application should work, isn't it? This is function. These are functional requirements. You enter some input and examine the output. Clear? But what is non-functional requirement? So what is the target user load of the application? Right? What are the
The
critical
response
business
time.
flows? These are all non-functional requirements. So we'll collect all those non-functional requirements now. Okay. And now how do you collect those requirements? How do you collect those requirements is you'll have, every organization will have a standard template. You need not, see, in the initial phase, client asked you some questions, right? Client shared one RFI document. 1 second. Client has shared, client asked a lot of questions here. They asked around 20 to 30 questions and we have to write, essay writing. Literally, we need to, we need to do essay writing. We need to do essay writing kind of exercise, isn't it? Now it's our turn now. We will ask the client some questions now. Okay. So now how do you collect those requirements? For collecting those requirements, right? So every organization will have their own template, something like this. Every organization will have their own template. Okay. So you'll have a performance testing requirement gathering document like this. Now you will be asking some questions to the client now, right? So what are those questions that you ask? Please provide business overview of the application to be tested. What is your business? What is the business of your application, right? And do you have any existing performance concerns? Mention and describe the integration points of the application. Integration point means what are the other applications, integrated with this application? Okay. What are the upstream and downstream systems, right? And then are you expecting us to conduct, what type of testing are you expecting to conduct? Did you conduct any performance testing for the application before in the past, right? If yes, can we have the performance report of the same? Because, if they already conducted some testing, we can look into that report and we can see what are the possible issues or what are the concerns that they are having, isn't it? And so we will send this requirement gathering document to the client, and the client need to respond to all those questions now, right? Client made us to do some essay rating, right? Of course, we'll ask them to write short answers only. We'll collect the requirements in detail now, and once we get the requirements, once we understand the client requirements, now we'll start working on the project now, right? Once we get the requirements, we will analyze those requirements, and we will ask the client to provide access to the environment, to the application. Okay. We can ask the client to provide access to their application in the test environment only. They will give access to test environment only. And we need to do a POC. POC stands for proof of concept. That means we have to decide, once we understand the requirement, right? We need to decide which tool we have to use now, right? Which tool we have to use, or else, in this phase itself, we can do a POC. Sometimes what happens is before getting the project itself, we can ask the client if they can allow us to do a POC, proof of concept, to see which tool can we use for testing and all, right? So it it depends on the requirement, depends on the client. That POC happens at different stages, either in the RFP phase, or once you get the project also, we can do a POC to decide what tool we have to use. And then we need to prepare effort estimates. What is meant by effort estimate? Effort estimates means how much time
How
it
much
takes
time,
to complete that project. How much time it takes to complete the project, how much time it takes to complete scripting, how much time it takes to execute the test, how much time it takes to fix the performance issues and all. So that is effort estimation. Okay. Now, once we see, so this will be done by your team lead or project lead, okay, or some senior member in the team. Okay. But junior members, are freshers, and junior members in the team will be working, they will be involved in NFR gathering phase, because they need to understand the client requirement. And then we will prepare a test plan document after this POC and effort estimates. We will prepare a test plan document. Okay. Now we know how to prepare a test plan document. Again, nothing to worry. Every organization will have their own template again. Okay. Every organization will have their own template like this. You can reuse their template with the client details, but you need to modify this, document, test plan document, with the client specific details. Clear, guys? But if you don't have any, if your organization doesn't have any template, yes, I'll share this. I am going to share all these documents, templates. You can use these documents. I'll be sharing this performance testing training handouts. Okay. All right. Now we know what does this test plan what does this test plan document contain? It is like a roadmap for the project. When will we start the project? What is the application architecture? Observe here. What is the application architecture? What is the objective of doing performance testing? What is the purpose of doing performance testing for that client? Observe here, I kept some placeholders. These are called as placeholders. Okay. These are called as placeholders. Here you need to replace with the project name, and this should be replaced with your client name. And here you need to collect in the requirement gathering phase, we will ask the client to share the architecture diagram also. Somewhere, you will ask the architecture diagram. Okay. See here, do you see here? Can you provide us the system physical or architecture diagram of the application under scope? Now, client will provide the architecture diagram, and you will simply keep that architecture diagram here. You need to understand that, and you need to keep that architecture diagram here. Okay. And then you'll also ask the client, what are the critical business flows of the application? Did we discuss that? What are the critical business flows of a net banking application and a travel
sir.
application?
Yes, we have discussed it.
We had discussed it, right? What are the, see, if you want to do performance testing for any application, we need to collect, what are the critical business flows of the application, isn't it? First, we need to know what are the critical business flows of that application. These would be the critical business flows for a travel application, and these will be the critical business flows for a net banking application, right? Now you need to, client need to provide all those critical business flows which require performance testing. And now you'll keep all those into the test plan document as well. Okay. Somewhere over here, you'll keep all the critical business flows over here. Yes. User registration, login, logout, search cruise and book a cruise. This is for a cruise application, right? And what is the user load? So you'll keep all this requirement in the test plan document, and you'll prepare a test plan document. We need to prepare a test plan document and share it to the client. We need to share it to the client and ask client to provide approval. That is called as sign off. Client should approve it, saying that, yes, this test plan looks good, right? It covers all our requirement, or it covers, our expectations. Okay. Once you get a sign off from the client, right? We also need to, by the way, in this process, we will also prepare a business scenario flow document and get client approval. Suppose client told that these are the critical business flows. This will happen over a meeting. Client will tell this over a meeting. Okay. Now you need to document all those, and you need to share it to the client and ask the client to give a approval for that. Okay. Because what happens, after completing half of the project, if they say that, no, this is this is not what we want, or our requirement is something different, or, we did not cover all the critical business flows. If they come up with some argument like that, right, it will result into legal issues, isn't it? Right. So to avoid those, discrepancies later on, so what will we do is we'll ask the client to get to provide a sign off, right? We will provide a sign off. We will share the business scenario flow document also and ask the client to provide a sign off. Now, once we get a sign off for the test plan document and this business scenario flow document, then we will start scripting. Then we need to start developing the scripts. Now, from this phase, all the team members will be involved, including any freshers in the team. Freshers, experienced guys, your team lead also will be doing on developing some scripts. Okay. And once scripts are developed, right, we'll be doing, your one of the senior team member or your team lead or project lead should do script review. They need to verify the scripts. They need to verify the scripts and make sure that scripts are working fine. Okay. Someone should verify it and make sure that it is working fine. And script review and sanity testing of each performance test script, right? And now once it is done, once we make sure that all the scripts are working fine, then we will go for, the next phase, which is test execution and reporting phase. Test execution and reporting phase. In this phase, we need to set up the test environment. Means what is meant by test environment? We need to install the tool on the client environment. Suppose you are doing testing for a US client, right? Most of the projects you will be working will be US or UK clients. Okay. So you need to, test it when you are testing US project. You need to generate the load or you need to test it from US only, right? From US machines, some machines in US, not from India or not from your hometown, not from our bedroom or our drawing room. Because why? Because see, if you take any US client, let us take this US client. I had worked for one project called Chicos. Okay, for this a client called Chicos. So their customers are based in US only. Oh, yeah, it is coming up. So this is a US based application. And their customers are based in all their customers are based in US only. They do most of their business in US, right? Now you need to test this. So you need to run the test from US machines only, not from India or not from your hometown. Because that is not realistic, isn't it? That is not realistic. So what you need to do is you need to set up the test environment. There's some people are still joining. So we need to set up the test environment. Set up the test environment means we need to ask the client to provide some US machines if it is a US project. And then we need to install the tool on that machine and you need to make sure that the environment is ready. Okay, right? And then we will do a smoke or a sanity or a dry run or a trial run or a shakeout test. Now, what is the purpose of this? We already did script review and sanity testing right here. Here we already did those. But please remember that before starting the actual test executions, you need to again execute smoke test or a dry run or a trial run in the test environment. We need to do this in the test environment after fixing, and the main objective of doing this is to identify any script issues or environment issues or test data issues. Okay. Sometimes, the machines that we were provided may not be able to access the application, the test application. Okay. So to find out all those, or, you may not be having enough test data in the scripts, proper test data in the script, or your environment may be having some issues. Some of those machines may be having disk full, or they are not having enough RAM, or, they may be crashing, right? So you need to do a smoke test or a sanity or a dry run in the test environment now. And once you make sure that everything is in place, then we will go with the actual test executions. Like, we had discussed different types of performance testing, like load test, so stress test and all this, right? Again, all the team members will be involved here in scripting phase as well as execution phase. See, you're setting up test environment and, the smoke test and all may be done by your team lead or project lead. But when you're doing a test execution, you may not be doing it directly, but, you should be involved in that. You should know what is happening there, right? And then once we execute the test, then we will be preparing a report, a test report. And there are different types of report that we share to the client. First, immediately once we execute the test, right, most of the times we will submit a high level report. The same day on the test execution, you will be preparing a high level report. And then you will take some 1 or 2 days time and you will be submitting a detailed report. Okay. You'll be submitting a detailed report in the reporting phase, right? This is test execution and reporting phase. Guys, observe here, first phase is discovery and planning phase. First one is discovery and planning phase that ends with the test plan document. And then scripting phase. Scripting phase is for, developing your performance testing scripts and script review and preparing test data. Okay. In this phase only, we'll also prepare the test data as well.
So script review will be done by team lead, sir.
Yeah, ideally, your team lead or project lead should be reviewing the scripts or
Okay.
some senior members in the team.
Okay.
Test data preparation also should be done in this phase. Okay. And then once you are done with that, you will go for test execution and reporting phase. Now in this phase, once you execute the test, you will be submitting, you will be preparing high level report and detailed report, right? So once you submit that report, right, let's say you found some issues, definitely we need to find some issues. Definitely any application will have some or other issues. Okay. There will be no application which will be perfect in the first instant itself. It will have some or other issues. Now it is the client responsibility to get the issues fixed with the help of their development team. Okay. So development team and database team or environment team, they need to fix all those issues. And they will say that all the issues are fixed, but it doesn't guarantee that issues are fixed. Again, we need to, okay, sorry. So in this report, right, so we need to analyze the test results and provide the tuning recommendations in the detailed report. When you are preparing detailed report, right, you need to analyze the test results and you need to submit you need to recommend some ways to tune the application, fine tune the application. Okay. Now, once the client does that, again, we need to, once the client says that all the issues are fixed or, most of the issues are fixed, we need to validate it again. For that, we need to run the test again, right? We need to run the test again and to confirm that, to check whether issues are really fixed or not, right? Sometimes what happens, if some issue is fixed, right, so it may cause issue in another place or it may result in other type of issues, right? So to make sure that all the performance issues are eliminated or to validate the application tuning, we'll execute another round of testing, right? Once we do that and once we confirm that all the issues are fixed, then we'll prepare a final report and we will ask the client to provide a sign off or project closure, right? So then client will provide client will release the final payment. Okay. See, client will not pay you as soon as the project is started, or they will not pay we monthly or monthly like salary. They will pay us, they will pay the service-based company based on the progress that we are making, right? So that's why, once we complete, once we are done with that, once we are done with the project execution, or once we make sure that all our scope of work is done, we'll prepare a final report and we'll ask the client to provide a sign off, right? So once the client provides sign off, then we consider that the project came to closure. The project comes to closure, and then you'll get your service-based company will get the final payment, right? They'll release the final payment. So obviously, in this phase, in the costing phase, right? See, and when are commercials involved, right? So when you are preparing a RFP document, when you are preparing a solution, they will discuss about the commercials also. Okay. So what is how much do they charge, right? How much is chargeable for completing the project? And now in this phase, you'll have, different type of bids. It will be like fixed bid or it can be T&M. There are different pricing models. I'll write it down here. Sorry, this is test plan document, right? So in the in the RFP phase, service-based company will quote the, how much amount is chargeable for the project. So there will be, and there will be different types of, bidding. There will be different type of costing. One is fixed bid. It can be a fixed bid project, or it can be T&M, time and material. Okay. Again, let me give some example for this. Suppose you want to construct a house. You want to construct, you did not like the apartment quality that you are getting. And you said like, I have a site and I want to construct a house. Okay. Now let's say, like you call a contractor and he'll give you these two models, like, right? He'll tell you what would be the total cost of the construction, or else this is one option, right? Ramu knows it very well, right? So other option is, because his father is into that one. Another one is T&M. What will the contractor say? He'll say that you procure the material, you pay for the labor, and pay this much, pay some, let's say 1,500 per SFT. Okay, that will be the construction cost. Something like that, right? There will be different pricing models. Fixed ఉండదు obviously. Something like that అంటున్నా. Okay. So I am telling the average market rate. Okay. Right. So there will be different costing methods, right, for the project. So similarly here also you'll have a fixed bid project as well as T&M. T&M stands for time and material. What is meant by material here? Resources here. In a software project, it is resources. It is the resources to tools, etc. Time means, how much days, how many days are, how much effort it requires. So in this phase, you will have, you need to submit daily timesheets. If client asks this one, right? Every day, your service-based company has to submit, timesheets daily, saying that these many resources are working and these many hours they worked, right? You might have seen this in some projects. So if you have some experience, right? So you might have seen that, some companies ask you to submit this, timesheets daily, right? If it is a big fixed bid project, doesn't matter, service-based company can engage any number of resources or, but they will have some timelines. Client will say that, I have to complete, I need to complete this project in, let's say, 3 months or 6 months. You need to complete, you need to meet those deadlines, right? When you say, or, when you say T&M, you need to every day submit, service-based company should submit timesheets to the client saying that these many people worked today, these many number of hours, and you need to tell what activities they performed also. Okay. Because, like there is a chance that there are, only they are working for only 2 to 3 hours per day and they may be asking billing for 8 hours a day. Right. So they need to tell, then in the timesheets, they need to submit the information. What is the task that each member is working on? Right. So, but mostly it will be fixed bid project. Mostly it will be fixed bid project. Okay. So this is a now once we complete that, once we complete, the client requirement, or once we complete performance testing and submit the final report, and we'll ask the client to provide the approval or sign off, and then project comes to closure. Okay. And then you will be moved to another project. If it is a service-based company, you will be moved to another project. Or you may be having bench time. You may be spending time on bench till you get some other project. So this is a typical performance testing life cycle in a service-based company. Okay, I'll take a pause here. Any queries?
Sir, one question I have.
Yeah, I have one. Okay, you can go ahead. I'll ask you.
Yeah, what like if the client doesn't know the non-functional requirements, and what should we have to do? Like, can we suggest ourselves?
Client doesn't know non-functional requirements means the client will know what is the target user load. Okay, so they will have a business analyst team. Every client will have a BA team, business analyst team. So they will be knowing, see, when they are developing an application, right? Without knowing target user load, they can't develop an application, which technology to use for developing the application and all. They can't decide without knowing about the, target user load, or without knowing what are the critical business flows and all. Definitely they will be having an idea, right? So you will, or else you can suggest, like, suppose, let's say client developed some application with with no clarity on the user load and all, but you will have, you will check with the, what is the target user load. Definitely they will be knowing it, right? Their business analyst team will be knowing it. If not, if they don't know that also, you'll start in incremental phase. You'll first start with 500 users, 1000 users, 1500, 2000, and you'll see what is the load capacity of that application. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir. Okay.
Recently, one of the performance engineer posted some questions to me. Okay, there are some relevant questions. I remembered one relevant question. Yeah, so there is one relevant question here. If the application is brand new and there are no existing web server logs, how can you gather load data for the performance testing? This is one of the questions asked in the interviews, it seems. Suppose if the application is a brand new application and they don't have, production data, production logs. Okay, it is a new application. It did not go into live yet, so they don't have any production logs, right? Then how do you gather the load data? Means, see, we have to create a workload model. This is the answer that I gave. Create a workload model based on the anticipated business volume. Means how many users will be using the application? Expected business volume. Okay, but not logs. We don't have logs in this case. if you are testing a new e-commerce site, right? You look at the metrics from similar sites, or first you will try to look at the metrics from the similar sites. Let's say, for example, GeoMart, GeoMart started performance testing for their application. It is a brand new application, right? Now, what do they do? Like, they will see to define the requirements or to define what do they see. They look at the competitor websites. How much time Flipkart and Amazon homepage is taking. When some user searches for a product on Flipkart or Amazon, how much time it is taking to get that product. Based on that, they will define these application requirements. They look at the metrics from competitors or the previous company products. Already that company may be having some already developed products, right? To determine what is the anticipated user load and all, we can look into their previous company products. Yes. So, for example, if you take a retail application, let's say there is a brand new application which is used for retail. Let's say Big Basket kind of application is there. It is a brand new application, let's say, before it came into production. Suppose we have to decide, what how that workload model and all. Workload model and how many users will be browsing, how many users will be adding product to cart and all. So this for any retail application, we can assume these numbers like 70% of the users will be browsing the application, 20% will be adding to cart and making payment, and 10% only will be making checkout. So this is a standard pattern for e-commerce workloads. This is a standard pattern. Every user, see, you might have searched for different products on Amazon. Every time you search for a product on Amazon, did you place an order and buy it? No, right? So this is a standard pattern for e-commerce applications. 70% of the users may be searching for products or just browsing. 20% of that users may be adding to cart and buying the product, to adding to cart, right? Or adding to wish list. And only 10% may be doing a checkout, right? This is a standard pattern. If client can't provide, we'll assume some numbers. Okay. If client says that I don't have any information, I can't provide any information, or we don't know anything about performance testing, we'll take with the standard pattern. We'll take for, that kind of application. In this case, for an e-commerce application, this is a standard pattern. Any queries? Yes. Competitor websites నుంచి ఎలా గ్యాదర్ చేస్తారు? Good question. So they will have some mechanism that business analyst team will take care of. Okay, I don't know how the business analyst team work. That is their headache. We need not worry about it. So if all the client need to provide the requirement, we will fulfill the requirement. Okay. Yeah. Any
So,
other queries?
yeah. So fixed bid project, sir. So in that we don't have to fill the timesheet, right, sir? It is like for duration they will be paying it. So that is the thing, right?
Yes. So for fixed bid projects, you need not submit daily timesheets. Okay. But status report, you need to provide status reports. Daily, you need to provide status reports
Okay.
for a tracking purpose. Like client want to know like what is the progress, how is it progressing, or team is blocked somewhere, right? To understand that, we will be providing status reports, weekly status report or monthly status report. Mostly weekly status report.
Okay.
WSR and all. So we'll be providing that WSR.
Sir, what about the timelines? Who will provide the timelines? The client or our management will create the timelines?
No, that is, we need to discuss with the client and we need to come to a consensus. So we need to discuss so first we need to tell how much time it takes. What is the minimum time that it takes, right? Then client has to agree for that. Okay. If client doesn't agree that, I don't have that much time. I don't have 3 months time. I want to complete it in 1 month. You will engage more resources.
Okay.
Right. So service-based company will engage more resources if client want to complete faster.
Sir, one question, like scripting and test execution, they mostly do in performance environment, or like they're like sometimes performance testing environment and sometimes production. Like how will be in real time?
For scripting and
Test execution.
okay.
So they will be the same environment or like a different, like scripting?
We'll have a dedicated environment for performance testing.
Okay, okay. That's
So, in which environment we have to done with the performance testing, sir? That is like pre-pod environment or UAT or SIT environment? Which environment we need to perform the performance testing of application?
We'll have a separate dedicated environment for performance testing that is called as
For
test or
engineering,
engineering
yeah.
environment.
So before deploying the application in the
Hmm.
production environment, so we need to done the performance testing, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So, and one more question. When we done that completion of the project, like as per the client requirement, like 100 concurrent users or 1,000 concurrent users in our application, so we have to finish it that testing and submit that sign off to the client. So then after we have to close that project. Then after the suddenly increase the load in this application. So how will they manage like? So a separate team is there to any sudden load acting on this application to troubleshoot these issues like that, sir?
Okay. So once the project is started, suppose some new requirement comes up. Let's say like they want to do something, some additional work, right? So there will be
Yeah.
a revised, there will be something called a state SOW. So client has to, we need to, first of all, SOW stands for statement of work. Let's say you started some project, you are almost halfway done, and suddenly client came with a new requirement. Say that said that we are integrating one more module to this. We need to do performance testing for that one also. Or let's say client told that there are 10 critical business flows. Before starting the project, let's say client told that these are the critical business flows of my application. Let's say, okay, they gave some 13 scripts. I mean, there are 13 important business flows. Now, once we start the project, let's say client said that we want to cover, 5 more business flows. We want to cover 5 more business flows. So we will not do it for free. Your service-based company will not agree to do it for free. If it is, if it is a minor work, that is fine. If it doesn't involve much time and effort, that is fine. But if it is if it involves a lot of time and effort, or if it requires some more resources, so they will ask, they will enter into an additional agreement called SOW, statement of work. Okay. So, and
Okay.
they will charge additional amount for that. Any additional test to be executed or any additional scope to be included in the project. So they will have something called SOW, statement of work, and they will discuss pricing, costing for that separately, and the client will pay that and they will do it.
Generally, how many days to complete one project, sir? One application testing?
It can be, so we cannot define like that. It can be a 1 month project or 3 months or 6 months. We can't say like that. Some projects will be continuous projects. Continuously we have to do performance testing continuously, right? Unless client is not satisfied with the work. Some projects will run for years together. Okay, some
So
projects
that
will
means
run for
like,
years together with the same service-based company.
Yeah, based on your
yeah.
experience, how it was, sir? So it was for a period of 6 months or 1 year.
Mostly like 3 to 6 months projects will be there. Sorry, most of the projects will be for 3 to 6 months.
Okay, and then again you will be moving into another project, sir.
If you are into service-based company, obviously, once the project is completed, they have to deploy that resources into some other project, right? They can't keep them
Okay.
idle and pay salary, right?
Right, got it. But for the same client, we'll be getting another project, right, sir?
No, same client or different client. It can be same client or it can be a different client.
Okay.
So just you said like it is continuously going process of testing the application. Like so, the client is day by day their requirements are adding to this application, right, sir?
See, application may be still under development, right? In every sprint, some new features will be added, some bug fixes will be done, some configuration changes will be done, right? So testing, QA is a never-ending process. As far as development is there, testing also will be there, right?
Okay.
Unless
Okay.
until
I
the
got it.
application has reached some saturation point. Let's say sometimes there is no further development required for that project. So then only it will stop. Otherwise, it will continue forever. See, you take any example like WhatsApp example. So did WhatsApp stop adding new features? It is there from many years. Like, or you take any app. So will they stop adding new features? Right? Requirements will evolve over time, and it is a continuous process. Developing the application and testing the application is a continuous process.
Okay. Yeah. Got it, sir.
Sir, one question like manual testing, does we have to create the test cases in for performance
Manual
testing?
testing?
Like manual tester, like we have to create the test cases for
Yeah,
performance.
good question. So manual testers, like they will create test cases, right? So in the case of functional testing, so basically test case is this is a functional testing terminology, right? So in any project, you will have some 200 to 300 test cases. Agree? In any typical project, you will have hundreds of test cases. But in performance testing, we call it as test scripts. We'll develop test scripts, and the average number of test scripts will be like 15. On an average, there will be 10 to 15 scripts in most of the projects. Let us take 15. Okay. Or 10 to 15. Because we consider only critical business flows. We consider for performance testing, we consider only critical business flows. Why? Because see, you take any application, yes, net banking application. What do we mostly do? Using a net banking application, what do we mostly do?
Fund
We'll be doing
transfer.
fund transfer, right? Or bill payment, loan payment, credit card payment. That's it, right? But every day you will not do profile update. Yes or no? Or every day you will not do address update. Or every day you will not do, you will not raise a loan request. Agree? Right? So, what critical business flows are: fund transfer, adding beneficiary, bill payment. These are critical business flows. Loan payment or credit card bill payment or utility bill payment. These are critical business flows, isn't it? So that is why performance testing scripts will be tend to, we do performance testing for important business flows only, right? Which will be having more volume or more number of users. So on an average, there will be 10 to 15 business flows or 10 to 15 scripts on an average. Okay, there will not be hundreds of test scripts in any project. The maximum number of scripts I got in my experience is 80. That is the maximum number of scripts that I heard or I got in only one project. In that my total 16 years of experience, it is only one project, that is Bank of America. When I was working for Bank of America, we had 80 scripts in that project. I did not see more than 20 in any project other than that. Any other queries?
Sir, you mean 80 scripts you got, sir, or 180?
80. Yes.
Okay.
That is the maximum that I have ever heard. Okay.
Sir, do you have any POC template sample just for to understand?
POC document.
Yes. Do you have any sample documents like test plan?
No. See, POC means what do we do is like we ask the client to provide one of the critical business flow, any one of the critical business flow, and we will try that business flow with different tools. Let's say you have LoadRunner and JMeter as the major tools, right? So we'll discuss that on what basis we decide the tool and all. We'll discuss it later. But we will try to record a script and we'll try to complete that script to make sure that that tool is usable for that entire application. Okay, that is POC. That is proof of concept. And to understand, how much time, how easy or how complex the scripting is, how easy or how complex the application is, right? And any practical issues, challenges that you can, foresee. So for that, we do a POC. I don't have any sample for that. I need to search it. I need to look it out. Okay. Yeah, I'll stop it here, guys, for today. We'll continue tomorrow. All right. So today's session went for till 1:11.
Sir, I have one query. So I am not able to see that recording classes. So in that link you have provided only pre-sessions only I'm able to see. So in the
I need to provide
session,
access to the private videos. Okay. So once you confirm you're joining and pay the fees, then I will be providing access to those.
Okay, sir. Okay, I will pay that.
Yeah. So I need to provide access to individual sessions. Okay.
Okay.
Sir, can
So
you
this
send me
is
the
your
class?
playlist URL, right? So you need to, most of the videos are uploaded as unlisted or public. Those you can watch, but these private videos,
Okay.
I need to provide access to you like this.
Okay.
You see, I had provided access to 14 people till now.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Sir, can you
Okay.
send me the access for the class notes, sir?
Class notes document. Class note, I didn't share it to you.
No, sir.
Rupesh, did you receive it? Do you have Rupesh today? Or Hari also not there? Okay, I'll check it. Who is this Sam Seva, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it. And I'll provide the access. Okay, guys. By the way, like when will we have our written test? We need to. I need to give you online test, right, for online participants.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I need to cover few more concepts for that. To view that test, I need to cover few more concepts. Okay, we'll do it next week, guys. We'll do that exercise next week. Okay. All right then. So this is the core performance testing concept. Okay. Usually if you go to any other training institute, they start with performance testing lifecycle, and second day or third day they will start the tool. Okay. They'll start with performance testing lifecycle only. Okay. But like we had spent almost 15 hours before on fundamental concepts. Then this is my style, or this is the approach that I have been using. I have been following from my first batch, right? So we can assess tomorrow. By the way, so this Saturday, tomorrow I may not be able to take session for entry preparation. I'll take that session on Sunday if it is fine with everyone. Assessment, I will share a link to you this weekend. I'll share the link, but don't attempt it immediately because I need to cover few more concepts for attempting the assessment. So please wait till I inform you or till I ask you to start the test, to start attempting the test. Okay, but this weekend you'll receive an SMS and an email from you'll receive an SMS and email from Urban Pro. Okay, so like just for your information. So I need to add your mail IDs and phone numbers. So if required, I will be asking your full name because we have around like 2,000 to 3,000 students till now. So some may be having same first name and last name as yours, or in future you may be having it. So if required, I will ask you to your full name, to provide your full name, to just maintain unique unique records, right? So please respond with your full name if I ask you, right? You'll receive an SMS and email, and once I confirm that we are good to attempt the test, then please attempt the test next week. Okay, I'll stop it here, guys, for today. We'll continue to how about that interview preparation session? We can skip this week, right? Or else you want me to but anyways, I need to take it for previous batch students, so I'll take it on Sunday for them. I'll inform you as well if you have a Sunday session. Yeah.
So tomorrow, as usual, regular classes will be there, right?
No, tomorrow I have a family function to attend, so tomorrow I may not be able to take a session.
Okay.
Okay. So, but whenever I get some free time, I will share that online test.
Okay.
Okay. You'll receive an SMS and email from urbanpro.com. Okay. So, all right, then I'm closing the meeting, guys. Okay. Any queries, guys, before we close today's session? And then, by the way, so from some people paid only 5,000, so you need to pay the remaining fees to attend from Monday onwards. So I can't allow anyone who did not pay, who paid only 5,000 or who did not pay any fees. Okay. Okay, guys, I'm closing the meeting.